Sweet butt incoming!
Like hell I am. I'm nobody's property.
You sure? Doesn't she look like a sweet butt? Little slut? I think she does.
Step off, creep.
Or what? You tell your daddy on me?
Or you'll be scraping your balls off the floor, you fucking pig.
Oh, I love it when they play hard to get.
Let go of me!
What the hell's going on out here?
Nothing, Prez. Just having a bit of fun with this gash here.
I suggest you leash that dog of yours.
For fuck's sake, Prospect, not again. Get the hell out of here.
Sorry, boss, I'll go. Fuck, that hurt, you cunt.
If I hadn't looked up the release date for Cafe Rain, I would have assumed this was a classic point-and-click adventure created by Sierra or LucasArts. This game actually came out in 2016, and Clifftop Games did an excellent job creating the same vibes you'd get from a game like Full Throttle.
No one can stop me. But they try.
This is a mystery game set in 1995 where you play as a rebellious student named Kathy Rain who has a Christian nerd as a roommate named Eileen. Eileen finds out that Kathy's grandfather has died and tells her she should attend the funeral. She hasn't seen her grandparents since she was a kid. Her dad left when she was young and she had to get her mum admitted into a psychiatric hospital, so her family relationships are a bit messy. She goes to the funeral, she meets her grandmother, and she also meets a really pushy priest that forces a leaflet on her. She heads to her nan's house, who somehow got there before Kathy, and they catch up on everything that has happened since Kathy was a child. Her grandpapa had an accident back in '83, he was found passed out with a tape recorder in hand, and he was brought back home by the local sheriff. He was lifeless, couldn't talk or walk, and spent the rest of his life in a wheelchair. Kathy knows something happened that night and decides to become a detective.
Thanks, Grandma. Be careful now.
To solve this mystery, you simply have to go to different locations, talk to anyone there about whatever you have jotted down in your notepad, show them every item you have, and now and then solve a puzzle. The devs must have known there was a lot of bullshit in those old point-and-click games, because there isn't any pixel hunting, well, maybe a bit at the end, or checking the manual to solve puzzles, or wait for the planets to align and a full moon to rise, and for the residents to headline Glastonbury for something to happen. The puzzles in the first half of the game are fair and they tell you everything you need to know, but it doesn't spoil it. It still feels pretty good to find these solutions. For example, one of the earliest puzzles is this locked briefcase with a 6-digit code. On the desk is a maths book that is clearly connected. At first I worried that I had to be a math major to get this, but Kathy tells you there is a clue on the tape you got and you don't need to know maths to get it. After trying a few different things, I finally solved it and I felt like a goddamn genius. The puzzles do get a bit more difficult and abstract as the game goes on, but being that it's the only challenge in the game, it makes sense for it to get harder as it goes. The atmosphere in this game is beautifully presented. The natural colours and the sound of rain is comforting, and the music is a mix of ambient synths and guitars. Sometimes it's rocking, other times it gets pretty creepy and uncomfortably loud, which is fitting, but the game never gets really scary. There are surreal horror moments, and the game decides to have a Phantasmagoria 2, a puzzle of the flesh moment, but most of the time it feels like a 90s mystery tale. There is also a lot of satirical humour here, like the posters on their walls and the film star turned bum.
I'm not sure I want to know what Jacob's bladder is about, but I'm gonna ask anyway.
Jacob's bladder. The tragic story of Jacob Cobb, a schizophrenic man who forms an imaginary romantic relationship with his bladder. During long and joyful monologues on the can, he starts referring to his nether regions by the name of Jenny. Sadly, before Jacob has a chance to elope with his sweetheart, he gets committed to an asylum due to increasingly erratic behavior. After a big fight with his paramour, Jacob refuses to pee for a week and he dies from a ruptured bladder.
Kathy is also the wisecracker kind of protagonist, but she isn't annoying. She is meant to be a fearless metalhead who goes around on a chopper and stands up to anyone who gets in her way of the investigation. She isn't a completely unlikable piece of shit though. She appreciates the help she gets, especially from E and her granny, and there are some heartbreaking scenes where the tough persona of Kathy cracks and you see who she really is. This is a 5 to 6 hour game that isn't very expensive. There's also a director's cut which has a few extra puzzles and locations, so that is the one you want. I reviewed the original because I already had it, but even though I now know what happens in this game, I wouldn't mind returning to it some other time just because it was a great point and click experience. If you're looking for that sort of game, I highly recommend this one, and keep an eye out on what Cliff Top Games do next. They already made a sci-fi game called Whispers of a Machine, and they are working on a neo-noir point and click game too. We might even get a sequel to Kathy Rain, and I look forward to it.
Turning your pawn into a queen, is that the plan, buddy boy? You know me, I'm always playing the long game, old friend. That may be, but you're running out of pieces. First you lost your queen, then your knight. All that matters is the king. Illusional as always. The king is dead. Long live the king, check.